Welcome to the Travel Business Unpacked, where we break down what it takes to build a thriving travel business. Here's your host, co-founder of Gifted Travel Network and best-selling author, Meredith Calloway.
Hello, and welcome to the Travel Business Unpacked podcast. I am your host, Meredith Calloway, and my guest today is Angie Corry of Adventurously Yours Travel Design. Angie is a Travel MBA alum. She has gone through our Travel MBA program, graduated, I think did you graduate January this year or January last year?
January of last year.
Okay, so you started in January of 24, and so now you're 2 years, just over 2 years into your travel entrepreneurial journey. So welcome to the podcast, Angie.
Thank you, Meredith. I really appreciate you having me today. I'm really excited to share my story.
Yes. And I think it's exciting to, a lot of my guests in the first year of the podcast were people that were, in that phase 4 of the journey. And I think it's really fun to interview people who are not there yet and are, just willing to share what it's like when you're on that journey to getting there. And I love your story. I think you have a really, really fascinating, interesting story that a lot of people can relate to, because yours is you were inspired by your living abroad. And so your husband's job, I believe, took you to living in other countries with kids, which is I just give moms so much credit who do that. It is because it's scary. There's so much change. You have to, it's scary for you, but you have to be courageous for your kids because, they're going to react to the change the same way. So let's talk about that. So you started your journey while you were still living abroad, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So in 2017, we had this amazing opportunity to move to the Netherlands for my husband's job. And I left a really, really, really busy job. And I was just super excited because my single goal in life was to travel to every country in Europe while we lived there. Um, I didn't quite achieve it, but I worked really hard to get there. And so we get to this new country and we moved all of our stuff, packed it up, and I get the kids settled into their new school. I get my husband settled into his new job. And then I'm like, now what? It's
Yeah.
my time. I get to, like, what am I going to do? So I started just going and seeing things. I mean, when you think about the Netherlands, people think about Amsterdam,
Yeah.
sometimes The Hague, but it's such an amazing country with so many things to see and do. So I just started making plans for myself, going and seeing different things. And then I was posting on Facebook. And the other moms at the school started asking me, "Who are you going with? Is this your family? How are you, taking them?" And I said, "Oh no, I'm just kind of doing it on my own. I just make a plan for each day, what I want to do." And they're like, "That is amazing. Can we join you?"
Oh my gosh.
So I started with a really small group, maybe around 12 people, and we were just seeing and doing a lot of things. I was kind of like the main planner, but there were a lot of really
Was
great.
it was it an international school? Was it an American school? Or was it a normal school that local kids from the Netherlands would have gone to?
That's actually a great question. So it is an American school, but it's only about 20% American. So it's like American curriculum, but a really international population.
International. Okay. So it's English speaking,
Yes.
but only 20% American. So it's expats from all over the world.
Yeah. The group that I started with, I would say a lot of Canadians, Australians, Americans, of course. So yeah, that was kind of the group, but definitely expanded. A lot of Spanish speakers, lots of people from Poland. I mean, pretty much all over. I remember a mom from Belarus, just really,
Wow.
really international.
So when you first started, it was just day trips. It
Yeah.
was, well, the kids are at school. Let's go explore. I've I've had the pleasure of visiting the Netherlands many times, and I am always very, very blown away by how beautiful a country it is because you kind of don't think about it much, right?
Yeah.
And there are aspects of it that remind me of England, and it is a neighbor to, it does. So it's a lot of the same terrain. But then there's aspects that remind me of France. There's aspects that remind me of Germany. It's quite diverse. Like it does change as you move from different parts of the country to others. So I can only imagine there was a lot to explore.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very easy country to live in. The Dutch are just amazing the way that they work together. The whole society is really, I never wanted to leave. I knew that I could only be there for 3 years, but like I just hope to never leave.
Oh, aw. How did the kids do? And what ages were they when they moved? Were they already in regular school? Like, was that a big transition?
Yeah, so they were middle schoolers, which was
Wow.
moving abroad. So they were in 5th and 6th grade, and we started the school breaks just really made it perfect for traveling. And we started traveling during all of the school breaks, and 2
And by travel, you're saying to other parts of Europe, or would you actually even go further beyond Europe?
we traveled mostly to Europe, to Northern Africa as well, a little
Mm.
bit throughout Africa, but mostly Europe and Africa is where we
Yeah.
traveled to.
Yeah,
And
'cause
then
Africa is the same time zone,
yeah,
right? 'Cause
exactly.
just going south, and sometimes back in the day when I would be going to Africa every year, a lot of times I would fly through Europe and then do that. It's a long flight, but you don't have to worry about the time change.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely easier than getting there from the United States. And
Yeah.
so 2 things kind of happened simultaneously. My kids sort of went on a travel they didn't wanna travel as much during breaks. They were saying, "My friends aren't going, I just want to socialize and hang out with
Wow.
friends," which sounds really weird, but if you think about,
Yeah.
a middle schooler, those early teen years, it's really important just to be with your friends and building those relationships. And so they didn't want to travel as much. And after posting so much on Facebook, people kept saying to me, "You should be a travel agent. You should be a travel agent." And I was pretty resistant to that. I didn't really feel like I wanted to plan travel for other people because it's a lot. It's a lot to know, it's a lot to think about, and you're constantly worrying if things are going okay for your clients. So I definitely wasn't in that space yet, but I knew that I wanted to do something in travel. So I kind of started looking around. One day I found on Facebook this women's group that was traveling to Lithuania for a weekend. And
Okay.
we're sitting at dinner, I bring it up, present it to my kids and my husband, and, my husband's very busy while he's working, so he also loves to travel, but sometimes he maybe would have liked to have had a break where we didn't go somewhere as
Yeah.
well. He could just kind of relax. So I said to my family, I said, "Can I go? Do you mind if I go on this trip? It's women only. None of you will be there. It'll just be me. I'll make sure that everything is taken care of so that you have like an easy time over the weekend. I'll prepare some meals. I'll
Yeah.
make everything easy for you." And they were like, "You mean we're not going to go?" And like, "Yeah, I mean, it would just be me. I could kinda check out Lithuania and see if you wanna go." They're like, "That sounds awesome. You should definitely go, and we will stay here. We will chill out with our friends. Dad will
Wow.
weekend to relax. We love that idea." So, I
Okay.
nobody else on this trip at all. I pack my bag, I sign up, I get my flight all sorted out, and I show up. At the time, I'm in my 40s and everybody there is 20 something.
Oh my god.
I had a blast. So their stories were very different from my story, and I found
Yeah.
interesting, and they found me very interesting. So that
Wow.
I came back, I was just elated, and I thought, "This is it. I have found my niche. I am going to do travel for women in midlife." So
Yeah.
20 somethings are doing this. The 70 something are doing this in retirement. We're
Right.
getting together in these women groups. I'm going to make a trip lots of trips for women in midlife that are busy getting their kids settled, working busy jobs, where they can just show up. The only thing that they have to think about is, do I want seafood or steak for dinner?
Aw.
And so my first step was I created a social club for women who love to travel in the Netherlands, specifically
Okay.
for expats that lived in the Netherlands.
Right.
So part of that was doing the day trips that I talked about.
Yeah.
Then I was started out creating about 3 weekend getaways. We were going to buy Polish pottery, which is a big thing when you live in Europe, Christmas market, and then we
Yeah.
were doing a girls' trip to the Champagne Valley.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so as it
What
grew,
year is that? Is that like 18, 19?
so that's 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was in the Netherlands from 2017 through 2020, and in
Okay.
2019, I made my business official, and the trips were a really big hit, and they said, "We want more."
Oh my
So,
God.
said, "How much could we handle?" So I started doing a weekend getaway every single month of the year, with exception of July because a lot of people were traveling with their families in July.
Wow. Wow.
It just went off, really well. I
You
have
didn't struggle to fill them. There was in fact, you probably it sounds like you couldn't create enough of them.
Yes, yes, exactly. And so part of this was I ended up having about 10 community managers after I left. Well, okay, so let's go back.
Yeah.
In 2020, the pandemic hit in March,
Right. Right.
and I moved in July.
Wow.
And so I'm sitting here in America thinking, I don't know if this is going to work or not. I had become a travel advisor through another agency, and it was sort of a flop. I didn't understand anything.
I was wondering how you're like, how are you doing those trips? Did you so you had found an agency or a host so that you could get commission and access to partners that you might not have had access to?
Kind of.
Ish. Ish.
I was really working more as a tour operator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as I started digging into it, I found out like I
You were
can't
doing way more work than you needed to.
that. And so I on a Facebook forum, somebody said, "Oh, you should sign up." And I got excited and I signed up. And it was really like an MLM deal where
Mhm.
person that got you to sign up as a travel advisor is now your mentor. And so
Okay.
this could be fantastic if you have a fantastic mentor, or if your mentor is also new, you're kind of learning together and maybe sometimes not learning at all.
Yeah.
And so the latter happened for me. I really wasn't figuring out what I thought I needed to know. I didn't know what questions to ask. I just didn't really know where to go from there. So in 2020, we moved home. I don't know what's going to happen to Adventurously Yours Social Club
Yeah.
because, are people ever going to travel again? When is it going to happen?
Right.
Going to keep signing up. We drank a lot of wine and talked about travel over webinars,
Yeah.
but it ended up surviving. And then in 2021, everybody just wanted to go everywhere all the time. And so
Wow.
it really started growing, and this is when I started to get that idea of like, okay, I need to figure out really how to become, a true travel advisor.
Mhm.
I'd done a lot of research, and I found the Gifted Travel Network, and that was sort of the aha moment where, I saw what you were doing as far as teaching us how to be business people, how to run our business, find out the things that I was missing, thinking like, "I can't believe that I was,
Yeah.
going without kind of doing these things ahead of time." I didn't have a website,
Right.
and that was one of my things that I just really had such a hard time getting over because I was trying to save money by creating it myself, but
Right.
then it was such a challenge, I wasn't doing it, and so I kept going through this whole thing where I just couldn't get it done, and Travel MBA was that mindset shift for me.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
In so many different ways. I found the Travel MBA program was just amazing because the advisors that I was in it with, we were a very small group, but we were so diverse. We all were
Right.
different, had different stories coming and from different areas and planning different kinds of travel.
Yeah.
And so that also really helped me become more confident because until this point, I had been a person where I like to tell people how to travel. So I plan trips and people sign up for them, and it's great. But whenever I was trying to plan travel for other people, I really had to learn to listen because not
Yeah.
everybody wants to travel like I do. And I really learned that through one of my fellow TMBA members who she's the exact opposite traveler as I am.
Right.
And so we would talk about a trip and she would like, "Okay, look, that sounds horrible to me."
Love it.
And at first, you wanna take it personally and be like, "Well, what do you mean? I spent so much time thinking this through and planning it." And then whenever you're willing to look at her side of things and the way that she likes to travel, I was like, "Oh, I really need to make sure that I'm digging deeper with my clients
Mm.
and getting them the trip that they're asking for and not just the trip that I want them to go on."
Right. So the when you joined the Travel MBA program, one of the big transitions I'm hearing you had to make was going from being this group tour operator to being a full-fledged travel advisor and being willing to be more of a matchmaker than creating these trips that you think people will go on. Yeah, I mean, it's like I talk about it sometimes when you are doing a group strategy, there's there's 2 different ways to look at it. You can look at it from the perspective of being a custom builder or a spec builder. And you were doing the spec building. You were building trips and hoping people would come and buy them. Whereas the custom builder waits for the homeowner to hire the builder and they go and they create it together. But it's the vision of the homeowner that you're creating, not the vision of the spec builder.
Yes, yeah. So I was really successful at, building these trips and having people sign up for them, but
Yeah,
I start to look at it and say, "How many trips can I take people on per year?" I need,
yeah,
not be able to I need to not be traveling all the
all
time.
the time.
And so what's my best way of still being in the travel industry, but not wearing myself out by traveling nonstop? And that's when I realized really becoming better at planning travel for others is the
Mhm.
direction I needed to go.
Right. Partially because it's I'm curious, in, like, the early years when you were just creating these trips and doing once a month trips, and you were going on every single one?
I was going on almost every one of them, so
Okay.
I got
Yeah.
really, really good at taking the red eye on Thursday night,
Wow.
being fully on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then
Uh-huh.
flying home on Monday.
Wow. Wow. So you were traveling back from the States to Europe to oh my gosh, once a month. Holy moly, that's a lot of time in the sky. Were you making money out of curiosity back then?
So, I mean, I started the business just being happy to kind of
Yeah.
travel for free.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
was not.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe occasionally it would work out that I would make a little bit, but I
Yeah.
definitely was not making enough that I could quit my day job.
Yeah.
I worked
Yeah.
my job I worked my day job until January of this year, actually.
Wow. Wow. And
I
that is I love that you're thank you for being so vulnerable with that. There's no shame in it at all because there are so many people that are drawn to the travel business and travel planning, and they do it exactly like you. Like it's coming from the heart. You just, you know what? I'm happy if I'm just traveling for free. This is fun, right? But when you transition and embrace entrepreneurship, you really have to put your business owner hat on sometimes, not all the time. But at some point, for this to be sustainable for you, right? You need to find a way to make money. And I think what the Travel MBA program helped you do was view it through a different lens and how to better monetize what you've already created.
100%. So I
Yeah.
came to travel advising very slowly. I eased into it. I was just so cautious. My husband questioned everything, which really made me sort of also question
Yeah.
everything. But The Travel MBA program empowered me. I
Yeah.
saw how others were successful. I saw how top producers were just really succeeding at
Yeah.
Gifted Travel Network, and I it was really empowering. It made me know I can do it, that this is real, and
Yeah.
it can be successful, and what steps I needed to take to get there.
And it doesn't have to be, being getting to the point of monetizing it and being profitable doesn't mean working harder. It
Right.
doesn't mean just more trips. It just means a different way of being more intentional, having real clarity on how you're gonna grow your revenues faster than your expenses. I mean, that's the essence of monetizing a business, is you have to find out, you have to be very clear and have a plan. How are you gonna grow your revenues faster than your expenses? And I know in my first 5 or 6 years of the business, I was successful at growing my revenues, right? I was growing the business sales-wise, but I wasn't every single time I grew my revenues, my expenses were also growing because I wasn't reinvesting in the business. And I think so many people bring not sometimes people bring an employee mindset into the entrepreneurial journey. It just depends upon where they were. And others bring more of a like you said, like your mindset was you started the business from the heart, not from the head. It wasn't logic. It was, "Oh my god, I wanna do this," and, "Oh my gosh, there's so many people who wanna do this too. Let's create something together," which is the best way to start a business. But I love that you've had the foresight and, we'll take a little bit of credit, like, we brought our own perspective of the travel industry, especially the travel advisor profession, and helped you steer your business into a tweak it, right? It's not a different business at all. It's just a tweaking of it and, like you said, a shifted mindset around it. Hey, Travel Business Unpacked listeners, Meredith Calloway here. If you're enjoying the podcast, I've got something else I think you'll love. The book, The Seven Figure Travel Entrepreneur, is officially out now. It's all about building a business that's intentional, profitable, and actually sustainable, and leads to six-figure earnings. And I've made the entire first chapter free for you. It's my way of saying thank you for listening and being a part of this community as you build your luxury travel business. You can download it now at giftedtravelnetwork.com/book. Now, let's get back to the episode. So, let's talk about the branding process because that is one of the very first things we have our Travel MBA cohort focus on. And by branding, our philosophy is to build the brand from the inside out. You already had a brand, right? And I'm so glad you kept it because it was such, you know, it was started in such a pure place that you were able to keep the brand. But, just because you have a name, you still have to come up with a message and you have to come up with actual branded assets that reflect that messaging. How is that process for you?
Also quite a challenge because I was really just thinking about the successes that I had had so far. So I had to
Yeah.
think of where to go, where I wanted to be down the road.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I decided that instead of just being adventurously yours, which is what I had been with the social club, that I needed to bring in the whole travel design.
Yeah.
I did wanna keep adventurously yours because I do challenge people to go outside their comfort zone at times, and so that to me is sort of what the name says.
Yeah.
But then that's also where I work to build the websites and social media and those sort of things based on learning through Travel MBA that I wanted to be a luxury brand, not
Right.
necessarily just those that are out, camping. Don't
Yeah.
really any of that actually, but a sort of a high-end adventure.
Right. Because it's a logical way to monetize the business. If you just look at the numbers and I've shown my any budget Betty versus luxury Lucy comparison, when you take your head out of the sand and you really run the numbers, luxury is just logical. Selling luxury is just logical.
This was a big learning point for me because I could have a gazillion clients that want to
Yeah,
travel on a really tight budget and go see a lot of things, but it's a lot of work. And like
it's a
I
lot of
learned Travel MBA, if somebody's in a three-star boutique hotel, they might love it, they might hate it. But if
hate
I'm
it.
in a 4.5, 5-star hotel, nobody comes back complaining.
Exactly. And those complaints, the 3-star, you take credit for their complaints and it has nothing to do with you. It's just delivery of service. I mean, you get, what you pay for. So, yes, I'm so glad that you took the journey and made the decision to shift into luxury. So, what does the business model look like now? What is your composition of groups and and individual travel designs? And are you getting your individual travel design clients from the groups, or is it your marketing? Talk to me about that.
So, one big shift I made is I started asking for business. People
Mm.
knew what I did, but I found that they weren't reaching out to me. So, whenever
Yeah.
I saw that people were traveling in the way that I wanted to plan, I reached out to them directly and said, "Look, here's what I do. This is what I provide. This is how I can VIP your stay or make things better for you." I have 3 luxury clients that I'm planning lots and lots of travel for them throughout the year. Those are my
Mm.
3 big individual clients, and I'm growing to where I might take on, another 1 or 2 after this summer, but the other thing that I'm doing, I'm still running my group trips.
Yep.
My community managers in the Netherlands are running more group trips that are the weekend only. I'm running 4 big week-long to 2-week-long trips myself, but
Nice.
finding other people that want to run group trips that have not done it before, that want to be the host of that trip,
Okay.
and I'm doing their travel planning for them. So I take care of all the communication,
Interesting.
all the planning, they show up and they're a rock star. So with my knowledge
Right.
of how to run a group trip, it
Yeah.
really parlays to other people who are running group trips.
They've
So
got the following. It's not a problem to fill it, but man, trying to put that together, herd the cats, as I like to say, the
exactly.
project management of it, and then just understanding how to actually make it profitable too. There are so many aspects to groups that are complicated, and
Yes,
it's easy to lose money.
100% true. And even advisors don't realize until they've done their first group trip that
Mhm.
it's very easy to lose money on the deal or just break even if you don't have
Yeah,
everything right.
yeah. What are you finding, like, what kind of type of trip lends itself better to a group? I mean, are you doing river cruises? I mean, I think those are one of those easiest to do a group, or are you using more of a escorted tour partner? How is that? Who are you working with, out of curiosity?
Yeah, sort of a mix. I do find that escorted tours work really well. I ended up going on a fam with GTN on a river cruise, and now I've been on a couple and I love them. So it is my mission in life to bring down the average age of river cruisers
Oh, I
and
love
people on river
that.
cruises.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And some DMCs. So I'm putting together
yeah,
in Sri Lanka with a DMC that I went on a fam trip to Bhutan and Nepal with.
okay.
And that is really turning out like a very nice trip. So I'm very excited.
Very, very cool. Thinking about it now, we just hosted a fam with Colette, and you didn't go on that, did you?
I did not.
I feel like that would be a good partner for you to learn more about and experience, because both Colette and Globus have the option where if you take over an existing itinerary where you're not custom designing it, but you fill it, then you're able to make tweaks to it, custom design it, but you get the same pricing. So, and
So
that pricing is so much better than if you were to do a custom trip.
as it turns out, I actually have a group trip with Colette to
Mhm.
in April
Oh,
2027.
cool. Yay.
Yeah,
Very exciting.
they reached out to me at our conference,
Mhm.
and yeah, we found that trip as a good match, and so
Yeah.
excited to.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. And are you going on that one?
I am, yes, I'm leading
Oh,
one.
yeah. I have not done the Peru trip. That's one on my list for sure. Are you doing the Machu Picchu? Yeah, of course. I mean, how do
Yep,
you go to Peru and not do that?
yep. They have
So,
an itinerary.
yeah, I bet. What is your vision now? What is your vision for even, like, the mix of groups to individual designs? Where do you wanna see the business go?
I am trying to empower as many women to travel as possible. So I am
Mhm.
currently seeking out, women groups that are looking to travel. I went to a networking event in Florida, an all women's networking event. So that's where I'd really like to go is
I love that.
lots of group trips for women. Just get women traveling all over the world and seeing things that they didn't expect to see.
I love, love, love that idea, and I think you have really tapped into a need for that. I mean, have I'm now at the end of my, you know, motherhood, not motherhood, but raising kids journey. I call myself like semi empty nested because I now have a blended family, so I have stepkids and they're still home and in high school, but my youngest is in college, my older 2 are out of college, and so I definitely, still have the kids at home, but man, during the crazy years, having a trip like that to just get away and be able to the mental load of motherhood is so massive, and to be able to just de you know, decompress and and just step into, like, the freedom of being able to sleep in when you wanna sleep in and explore with other women and connect with other women who are going through the same journey and realize you're not the only one. You're not crazy and you're I really think that is an awesome market that you're tapping into. Are you still guiding most of your trips? Oh, no, actually, because what you're saying is you've now found other basically influencers who have their following, and they're the ones hosting it. Let's talk about go into the operational side of it. Team,
Yes.
where are you? Have you hired anyone yet? Like, how are you handling all of this yourself?
I listened to GTN and I hired a virtual assistant before.
Yay!
So I hired her, I guess probably about 6 months ago, knowing
Okay.
that I really was going to start seeking out individuals to run group trips, and that
Mhm,
you cannot do that many group trips on your own and keep all
mhm.
the things together. So this virtual assistant that I have had volunteered for me in the Netherlands before, and I knew that it was gonna be perfect because we're the exact opposite. So I have a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
energy, I get really excited about things, I'm sort of like, as soon as I get something, I take it, I run, I'm so
Yeah.
excited, and she's the exact opposite. She's slow, she's steady, she asks questions that I don't want her to ask because I don't wanna have to tell her that she's right. But it's actually really perfect because I think that for my clients, they deserve both. They like
Yeah,
excitement, but then she does all the checks and balances to make sure that what I am providing is really smooth, taken care of, that
yeah,
nothing is missed. She's my
yeah.
checker, and she is excellent.
Wow, I had a question, but you said something there that I think is unbelievably powerful, and I've never heard someone say it that way, and I want whoever's listening, if you have your own travel business and you've been really resisting hiring someone, listen to what Angie just said. My clients deserve both. My clients deserve me to have someone on my team that is a complement to my skill set, right? My clients deserve both. That is such a huge mindset shift in like for me, like I feel like there's a ding, ding, ding going on in some people's heads right now, because this is how you give yourself permission to take the leap of faith and hire. It's scary. It's scary thinking about having to manage someone. Maybe not scary, maybe it's uncomfortable, right? Like, do I really want that mental load too? But it's also scary, the cash flow liability. We have a tendency to want to think, I mean, I can't tell you, I on a daily basis, we encounter people who are like, I don't want to invest in something until I have the clients or until I have the cash flow to rationalize it. And one of the greatest mindset shifts I made many, many, many years ago as a business owner was you have to hire ahead of that growth. So thank you for saying that. That is such a powerful statement. My clients deserve. But sorry, going back to the operational side, I mean, for you to have done as much as you've done all on your own, even before you found GTN, you must have some kind of gift for processes and systems. Did you create almost like a well-oiled machine? How did you get to monthly trips? Like, that's a lot of project management.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I am pretty organized. I'm also a morning person, so I like to wake up around 4, between
Oh my
4
gosh.
and 6 a.m. I can just power through, get so
Yeah.
much done, not many
Where the
just
kids are off.
yeah, exactly. So that's really how I don't know, I just also get so excited about travel that it's something that I am always thinking about and I always want to do. Somebody brings
Yeah.
an idea to my mind and, I'm pounding the keyboard and I've got 1,000 tabs open and I'm finishing a trip and saying like, "Okay, this is gonna happen."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
There's
being organized and having a lot of excitement.
Yeah. So when it comes to your workflow processes, did your virtual assistant learn from you, or is your virtual assistant actually helping you with that?
This is a great question. I'm so glad you asked this because there's a point that I forgot to bring up. So, after the GTN symposium that we had, I met a group of people that are in similar places to where I am. We're all a little bit different and our
Yeah.
businesses are all a little bit different, but we all wanted an accountability group.
Yeah.
And so I have an accountability group with other GTN advisors. And this past December, one of our goals that we had together was to come up with workflows.
Wow.
And so we decided, break it down. Let's look at who's
Yeah.
mostly doing DMCs, who's doing fits, who's doing tour operators, who's doing cruising. We kind of decided who has specialties, and we
Yeah.
all put together a workflow, and then each individual took that and customized it to their own business. And that's what my assistant works from, is what I created from that accountability
Wow.
group.
Wow. That is like I'm kind of blown away. Like, I didn't even know this was going on.
I really believe in the power of
Out
working.
of my little kids, like
Yes, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that, GTN has provided us opportunities to have. So I would have, if I had not gone on symposium, I would have not have met them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
really look forward to getting together with them.
That's amazing. So just for those listening who don't know what Symposium is an event that we host every year. We took 26 off. We have it coming back again in 27. So we charter a river cruise, the entire ship. It the advisors that come on, open only to GTN advisors. They do have to pay to come on Symposium, so it's an investment in their business. But we use the sailing time during the river cruise itself as workshop content delivery time to talk about and go deep dive on a topic. So our very first one in 23 was the group travel symposium. And that's what we're bringing back in 27. So the symposium in 2027 is group travel again. So we bring about 40 to 50 travel advisors on that, but then we invite partners to sponsor it. And what's so cool about it is what you just explained is like the connections and the relationships that develop. And it's between the advisors meet advisors they've never met before. You get to experience river cruising, which you may or may not have done before. But the other thing that's really cool is the interactions with the partners. You meet partners that you may have never have considered. It would have been way off your radar. And you're having every single meal with these people. You're exploring Europe with these people. So it's just this outstanding experience, and there's the ripple effect. We just thought, "Ooh, this is a great opportunity to do a deep dive in some kind of, education that people are craving." But there's so many other things that happen on our symposium. So I love that story, that you created this whole accountability group, and now you have really put amazing workflow processes into place thanks to the collective wisdom of the people in your accountability group. So that's amazing. And I'm sure people have learned from you, right? Like,
Yeah. We learn from each other because if you look at the whole project, it's very overwhelming. I mean, I am just learning cruises, but one of the people in my group is doing cruises all the time.
yeah,
Thinking of things that I wouldn't even think of.
yeah, yeah. It's so, so important. And I just love that this vision that we've had at GTN for giving one of the tools in the toolbox that we think our advisors really need is a collaborative community. And to hear this, anecdote of how that tool is really working, and elevating you and pushing you further into your fullest potential is so exciting. It's just inspiring.
Well, I
Um,
love that you say that because I wasn't expecting to get that from GTN, but it has been so impactful from our Accelerate calls, conferences, the symposium, and the FAM trips that we're
yeah,
able to go on. I found so much value in a FAM trip that just went on. I was going because I thought, first of all, I applied and they chose me. So I felt really excited about that. They were believing in my business.
yeah.
It was a place that I wanted to go, Bhutan and Nepal, those places had been
Oh,
on
you went on that one. Oh my gosh, yeah.
it was amazing, but I came away with so many things that I didn't realize I was gonna get out of it. So, there
Mm,
were some top producers on the trip,
yeah,
there were MBA members on the trip, we were all in different places, and the power of being on a motor coach and just talking with all these different levels, I learned so much, I shared so much, and I just
yeah,
feel like I learned about our partner, which is absolutely amazing, one-on-one time with them where I
yes.
feel like I can pick
That
up
was
the phone.
Ven, right? Mentors?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. They are absolutely amazing. And so, I feel very comfortable just reaching out to them for anything that I need. But now I have these other resources, which are other
yeah,
GTN advisors that I would not have reached
yeah,
out to. I would have not called a top producer or even messaged them
yeah,
before this. But then whenever they're
yeah,
sharing things, we're learning, I'm thinking outside of my comfort zone. It's just really impactful, all of the different things that GTN provides.
yeah. Well, thank you for that compliment, and I promise if you're listening and you think this sounds like a a forced infomercial, I promise it's not.
Yeah, no, I was
Oh,
expecting that from a fam trip, but yeah,
yeah.
the fam
Uh,
trips have brought, way things that I wasn't expecting.
I I agree with you, and I think what happens on those fam trips is I mean, I just see it over and over and over again, and I think because we have done we've been very thoughtful about it, but also very deliberate in facilitating a collaborative community, and part of that is just like having these weekly coaching calls where people are showing up and asking questions, very vulnerable questions, and encouraging other people, even if they don't have a question, just come to the call because you might hear a question that's like, oh, that's a really good question. I'm glad that person asked that because I didn't have that question. But now that they asked it, I do have that question. But being in that facilitates this sense of we are collaborative here and a rising tide lifts all boats. So show up and you get what you give from the community. So if you're willing to, share whatever wisdom you have, when it's time for you to get the wisdom from someone else, you're going to get it threefold, fourfold, fivefold. But I think you're absolutely right. When you travel with people and you have time on a coach and you're in a different country and you're just talking and you're getting to know each other, you develop these connections that you would never have developed if you hadn't traveled. And so, yes, you can develop connections on Zoom calls and in those coaching calls, but the connection goes so much deeper when you're with them in person and not just talking about business, right? You're talking about your family and who you are and you're just getting to know each other. Hi, Travel Business Unpacked listeners. The travel industry has a problem that few people are talking about. There's a massive business education gap, and it's why so many advisors fall into the accidental hobbyist trap. At Gifted Travel Network, offering meaningful business education and guidance has been at the heart of what we do since day one. Travel Business University is how we're solving for it, and whether you're brand new to the industry, in building and growth mode, or already running a seven-figure business, TBU has a program and a community designed for exactly where you are. Visit giftedtravelnetwork.com or check out the link in the description to learn more and apply. Out of curiosity, any opportunity to live abroad again?
Possibly. I mean, it's possible. My husband did just take a job that is here in the DC area, and our kids are going to college here in Virginia. So it's
Okay.
kind of cozy and nice to stay here right now. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We do have, wandering minds, and the Netherlands does have a good DAFT program. So you might see us abroad again.
Well, clearly that time in your life was like it planted the seed of something that's grown into something really, really cool and beautiful and amazing. And it's changing other people's lives too. So congratulations on that. All right. So we're already past the time. So I want to give you the chance to answer my favorite question, which is having been in the travel industry, you've been in it relatively long. Can you share with us a moment where you were like, pinch me, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to do this for a living? And I'm sure there's thousands that you have to choose from.
Yeah. I mean, I really do think it was being on a motor coach in Bhutan with our partner right there and being with top producers, TMBA member, just
Yeah.
sort of surrounded in this community of travel in one of the most amazing places in the world. I really just kind of was looking at it thinking, I cannot believe that I'm here doing this at this point in my life.
Yeah.
That was
And
my
this is what I get to do.
Yes, exactly.
And this is my work.
Yeah.
Like, I get to surround myself with, like, the greatest minds in travel, right? And explore a country I've never been to, always been curious about, and get to see it through the lens of these greatest minds in travel. So, yeah, that's unbelievably cool. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Angie. Your story is so fascinating. I love it. It's so inspiring. A lot of people think about doing what you're doing, but very few people succeed and do it the way you've done it. So I just want to commend you for what you're creating. It's amazing. And I'm honored to be able to be a part of that journey. And I'm so excited to see where it's going. So thank you for being a guest.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Meredith.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we will see you on the next one.